Hi everyone, it's Pedro Baez, Go for Glory Stable today with Bob Fidanza. Today is June 7th, 2026. This is the weekly update for last week and what's going on for the next week. Um, as usual, you can like or subscribe to videos, helps the channel to grow. All right, so we got another packed agenda. This is just time of the year. So this time of year, between now and October, November, it's going to be these videos are going to be really packed, and we're going to be kind of going through them a little quickly just because there's a lot going on. So, uh, things to keep in mind. It's June 7th, so the May statements are in process, so we're working on that in the background. We had a very good month, so a lot of people should be pretty happy when they get their statements. Um, Although we still have there were still baby costs, so like there were a lot of staking fees for like Seven Seagrams and some of the other horses, but outside of that, we had an amazing month of May. So. Uh, and Big Z outing is June 20th, so that's actually a little bit less than 2 weeks now. At on Saturday in the morning at 8:15 or 8 that Charlie had it at Big Z in Montague, New Jersey, Northern New Jersey. That's on June 20th, 2026. So that's less than 2 weeks from now. Um, and you can just let Charlie know or me know if you're going. And I guess okay. With that being said, let's get started on what's been going on. So okay, uh, we're gonna start with the we'll start with the. I'm just trying to think of anything from high level. No, there's no new racehorses right now. We're always looking for new racehorses, um, and babies. We're just letting the babies kind of roll. All right. So so we're gonna start with the Paul Kelley update, with the Paul Kelley baby update. We'll do that first, kind of like we're gonna follow the same thing we did last time. So the Paul Kelley baby update. So they trained this week. So Paul Kelley, they're in Vernon Downs, which is upstate New York. They've trained in they're 212 this week. The babies, except for Lindy, she's still turned out. All doing well, so nothing to note. The only thing is next week, probably towards the end of next week, so maybe Friday, uh, so maybe like Friday, Saturday, the 12th or 13th, Paul's gonna put the babies in a race bike. So they'll be in a race bike at Vernon Downs training on hopefully towards the end of next week, Friday, Saturday. That's kind of like the next big step. So then we go through that. So that they're gonna drop from like 212 to like 207. It's gonna be crazy, the big drop. And um then assuming that goes well, usually the way Paul works is he either does them again in the race bike or he'll start doing the schooling and then looking to qualify and stuff. So he's getting pretty close. If Paul is putting them in the race bike next week, he's getting pretty close to qualifying. And remember, Paul's babies, majority of his babies, almost all of them with us, are Massachusetts eligible. So their stakes racing is in September and October. So it's a little different than like Rob's. They don't have that. They don't have Massachusetts. So Rob, we want them available as soon as possible for the first leg and all this and all that for New York, New Jersey. Paul's got September, October big racing in Massachusetts, so he's trying to his might. So in other words, it's okay if his babies qualify like a couple of weeks after Rob's. So there's nothing. It's by design. That's what I'm getting at. All right. So those are the babies for Paul. Um, so nothing to note. So the four with us, except for Sean Lindy, are moving along, and Sean Lindy is just a bone bruise in her foot, so she just turned out. So the babies, yeah, Paul's babies are uh, they hopefully go on the bike next week, and hopefully that's the next big step, and then we move on to the next thing. Um, all right, so that's Paul's 2-year-olds. Let's move on to Rob's 2-year-olds. Rob's 2-year-olds. So that's Solar Queen, Seven Seagrams, Beetlejuice, Blue Chip. They will be in. They are confirmed to qualify in 3 days on June 10th. Wednesday, June 10th at Pocono Downs. They will be in to qualify. So the draws Tuesday. They'll be in to qualify Wednesday, and then Rob definitely wants to drive. He'll probably drive Solar Queen, and then we'll probably look for maybe Tyler Buter if we can get him for the other two horses. Um, I think Rob's qualifying like two other babies also, so he's gonna have a very busy morning at or morning early afternoon at Pocono Downs. And then he's checking. Well, we'll get to them in a bit. So the babies will qualify on Wednesday on June 10th at Poconos, and nothing really to know. So that's that's kind of like now we can finally see what we got. So congratulations. Well, I don't want to say congratulations, but thank you everyone for the patience. It seems daunting at the time when you buy yearlings. It seems like it's going to take forever, but as you saw, we bought them in early September in Goshen last year. It's already early June, so it's already been 9 months. So before you know it, time flies. They're already qualifying, um, and um, the way they earn money is compressed. So you'll see all the baby owners, especially the first time baby owners, it's different than like the overnights. The overnights, they're kind of like grinding out money every single month. With the babies, they only race, especially the babies, like the 2-year-olds, they only race like 3 or 4 months. So you might, if we get a good ones, they might make a lot of money in only 3 or 4 months. So you know, it's just different economics than the overnights. Anyway, so that's the big thing. So that they're qualifying tomorrow. So the replays will be available at PHHA uh, page on YouTube. They put the replays up pretty quickly, usually like 15 minutes after the qualifier. Um, and that's pretty much it. So that's the big thing with the babies. So moving on to the next. Now we're going to jump into the. So Bob, now we're going to get into the actual horses. The race horses and stuff like that. All right. So the first one on the list is Adios My Lindy. She raced on Friday at the Meadowlands. Friday night, late night. I actually fell asleep and then
Yeah,
it's crazy. I woke up just in time for this race. So anyway, some of the guys are up
I
like
got to confess, I didn't see it till the next morning. That was a tough one to stay up for.
it looks like her race went off at about 11:40. There she is, the two horse. Scott
Right.
Zeron, the money man.
And there's a heavy favorite in here who's going to zoom right out here.
The
So I
favorite's a
think
six
Scott
pack.
does a great job here keeping up and getting in the pocket behind his favorite.
I think the best thing with Adios is just how
Great place to
calm.
be. We just
Yeah, great place and how calm she looks. Like
yeah,
her gait and everything.
yep, looks great. Right. We could have used to give a little pressure to this leader, but we'll take this kind of trip. It's great. And like you said, she's just smooth and easy, looks very comfortable. Uh, and we're going to take a shot eventually. That's that monster she's chasing her. Comes pressure, but it's too little, too late. I think to put it in the front runner there. I don't see the fractions up now. We're approaching 3/4.
It's like 58 and one for a second.
Yeah, it's 58 now.
Or 59, can't tell. Right here, I thought
She's
we
still
might win
got some
this.
energy in the stretch. This is good to see. This guy tips her out a little bit. Yeah, she tips her out, and she's looking good here. I mean, this horse is a good one she's in against here, and she's bringing it to her all the way to the wire.
Yeah, she was really good. So Adios was really good. Um, the only and Scott Zeron after the race, that was the first time he drove her. He just told Paul just needs to. So even though her gait was good, meaning she didn't look like she was going to break or anything at any point during the race, which is important. Um, she is still like very hot. Like you saw at some point, she was kind of climbing over the horse in front of her because she just kind of is. She wants to go forward. So Paul's he's still working on that to try to calm her down a little bit more. But as far as like breaking, she's not breaking, thank goodness. I don't want to jinx it, but she's not breaking. Um, and all of a sudden, it's like the results are coming, so it's kind of nice to see. So 54-2, almost winning versus a bona fide 1-9 shot. Nice looking six pack filly. Um, nothing. There's no harm in that. Adios was really good. So her final is next week. The draw is tomorrow. Her final is next week on Friday. Talking to Paul, she should make the final. Um, so we just got hopefully we draw well. We should get Scott Zeron, or we're not sure if we're gonna get Scott Zeron or not because he did win another division with a horse that has some ability. So we'll see if we keep Zeron or not. If not, we got Yannick, uh, Yannick Gingras that we might be able to get for the final. But she was really good, and the big thing is Paul's got to keep working on getting her a little bit more calm, not so fired up. Gate wise, she's good. The hobble's doing a great job, and she looks like she's getting better. So the big thing Paul says just like she looks like she's getting better. She's improving. She's improving, making improvements now as we go on. Um, Trying to think if Scott said anything else. No, that was the big thing with Scott he just said she was a little grabby, um, but she wasn't bad. She wasn't bad at all. She was good. All right, that's Adios My Lindy. Let's move on to the next. Adios My Lindy. The draw is tomorrow, the 8th for Friday, Meadowlands, the final of the New Jersey Sire Stakes Silver Division. It goes for $40,000. She should be in with her second and fifth place. She should have qualified for the final. So we'll see how that goes, and let's hopefully good luck for everyone for that. I wish the purses were more for the silver division, but it's better than
Mm,
not having a division at all. Usually, New
right.
Jersey does not even have the silver division, and you're kind of like you have nothing. So, all right, that's Adios My Lindy. Let's go to Beaueastel. He raced yesterday, Saturday, and just we entered him in the level below this race is non-winners 8,000 last four. We entered him in non-winners of 6,000, and they put us into a non-winners of 8,000. And then the horses on the outside, they got some really good horses, 5, 6, 7. Those horses don't belong in this class
Yeah.
either. So we were the longest shot on the board here. So there's Bo Eastel. He's the two horse.
Yeah. And he had a couple of good starts right before this one, and but the class hike and his trip that's going to work out here with everybody leaving and him getting the way back here. But is it going to be ideal? He's going to eventually get out second over on this one. But yeah, there's some tough ones, and it is the class hike that he had this week, even inadvertent, as you said.
Yeah. Sometimes to fill the fields, the race office
Right.
gets creative. So they took horses that were like non-winners 10,000 and open types, put them into this class, and then they put horses below this class like us. So it's like this class is like a hodgepodge. This race it was almost like an open, like a winner's over.
Yeah.
Like that City of Hope is that horse is
So here
racing
when
against
this horse
Enola.
pulls, he gets out here and pulls out and gets a cover trip, which and does better than I thought. I didn't think this 18-1 shot was going to carry him very far, but he does bring him up into contention here. And when he goes around the turn, he's going to swing three wide. But the rail looks like the place to be down the stretch on this one because those horses are going to finish 1, 2, and 3. Uh, and he's just going to get nailed out of the show photo, but a pretty solid effort with a tough ask. Yeah, right about now, he's thinking to go three wide, and he is going to tip out right now. And he's going to finish well, but the ones that are taking the short route home, so to speak, are going to get just out kick him for the third spot coming up here. I thought he might have had it about here, but no, just got nailed, nosed out of the photo for
Well,
show.
well, we got the photo last week for our last time out for second, so it kind of gave us back a little bit. We got
Right?
nosed out for
Yeah,
third, but he was good. He was good. He'll be back in
yeah,
the box next
yeah,
week.
solid mile.
Yeah, he'll be back in the box next week. Hopefully for the class we want, which is below this, And uh, yeah, and he's solid. He's not a flashy horse. He doesn't have blazing gate speed, and he doesn't have, but he doesn't really break that much, and he tries. So that's Beaueastel. So I mean, the horses that he was the longest shot in this field for a reason. It wasn't his fault. It was just they put him in with some really good horses. So and he still got fourth place. So anyway, so he's good. He's fine. He'll be back in next week. Um, let's go checking out the talent. So checking out the talent. He is also qualifying in 3 days on Wednesday the 10th at Pocono Downs. So that is he is making his first state USA debut for us. So we'll see. This is a big qualifier. We can finally see kind of how he looks in the track and how he is. So good luck for everyone with that checking out talent. He is in on Wednesday. He's qualifying on Wednesday. He's making his debut stateside for the group. Looking forward to that one because I think he's pretty good. Um, all right, checking out talent is on Wednesday. What else? Enola, she's in the box Tuesday for Friday or Saturday at Tioga. If they don't fill the open again and she doesn't get in again, then we'll have to start figuring out some other options. Um, but we gave the open didn't go last week. All right, well we'll give them another chance this week. So we'll see how it goes. She fits really well over there. She really loves her home in Tioga. So we wanna try to race her there if we can. Um, Enola, so that's now next up is For Whom the Bell Tolls. She is in to go on uh also on Wednesday next week.
Wednesday. Yeah.
We got a big Wednesday. Um
Hmm.
she got the 6 hole, which obviously stinks on a half mile. Um, but just looking at these names, these horses outside the two, I mean, maybe not even so the two, these horses don't really jump off the page. So I mean, we might be
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
might
that
still be
one she
okay.
chased last week isn't in. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we might be okay in there. So let's see how that goes. So she's on Wednesday the 10th and New York Excelsior Stakes at
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo Raceway. So anybody who lives in out, Western New York, you got a horse racing out there near you. Um, so she's there. Nothing to note with her. Gretzky the Great or Geologic. Let's do Geologic. Can't skip him. He was our top performer of the week.
Yeah, this is one you can watch over and over again this month.
Oh yeah. That one endurance is a Hambo horse, everyone. That one endurance will be in the Hambo. Might be a Hambo favorite or one of the favorites. Just to give you an idea of what kind of field this is. Although it's just really the one that's killer. We're the 5 horse here with Scott Zeron, and Paul told Scott before the race that Geologic does have gate speed, so you should use it. You should try to use it. Paul didn't expect, and Scott, he didn't expect that 8 to be out in the front. It was like 100 to 1 shot on the lead. So you don't
Yeah,
want,
right.
and went ridiculous
Yeah, that was a good
fractions.
lead. Yeah, yeah, 26 there on the first quarter for 99 to 1 shot. I mean, Scott knows he's going to have to, this horse ain't going a mile. He's going to have to get out of here at some point, and he does make the move eventually, but he's keeping him close enough. The favorite's not made his move yet. Here he comes now. I like the
Geologic.
way with the timing on Scott's move when he gets Geologic out of the pocket. Yeah, he's going to get him out there.
And Geologic, he just looks so smooth. His trot is just
He's,
so nice.
yeah. Now Scott sees this guy coming. He's going to inch out here and force him to go 3 wide because you don't want to be stuck behind this 99 to 1 shot. So the favorite goes on by and clears, but Scott's out and right back into the pocket behind him instead of behind in 99 to 1 shot. I thought it was a great now 2 horse race. And he's going. He's going to give it a try, but that's a force he's chasing down there.
Yeah, this last few feet was impressive. So we ended up, I think, in what, 52 and
Well,
2?
well ahead of the two
Yeah,
and two. Yeah, very
and
nice mile.
unbelievable. Unbelievable to have a horse to have a trotter going in 52 and 2 on a 5/8.
Yeah,
So,
that's nice.
yeah, we've been this is why we do it. This is why we own horses. We do it every year in dreams
Yeah,
of getting a horse like this. He based on the divisions yesterday in Pennsylvania, Geologic was the second fastest horse out of all the Pennsylvania sire 3-year-old colts yesterday.
nice.
So, I mean, were there some that
And
might
those
not be?
purses are nice. Those purses are nice in PA. That's a
Yeah, they're great. So,
yeah.
you know, congratulations to, all the Geologic owners. This is, like I said, it takes these horses do not come around that often. When you get a horse like this, um, that's just this, but this is what it's all about. And then we want a lot of times you got to do the yearling game to get horses like this, and then we build. These are the horses we want to build around. So, but yeah, Zeron, Scott, and Paul, they said, one of the biggest things they were impressed with was the fact that he followed that 99 to 1 shot, who did fractions of 26 and 1, 54 and 3. You know, it still did a 54 and 2 mile, which isn't that bad. 54 and 2 won the other Pennsylvania Sire Stakes division on this day,
Right.
so it wasn't that bad. Uh, and The fact that Geologic went 54 and 4 and still put together another back half, another strong back half to finish 52 and 2 behind the winner. Like, Scott said,
Yeah.
Scott Zeron said, he said Geologic had every reason to back up through the field the way the 8 did, the 99 to 1 shot did, after that first half, and Geologic didn't. He just went right around them and kept going. So Scotty said that's like a mark of a really good horse. So we'll see. Hopefully Scotty
Yeah.
sticks with Geologic next time out. The next race is in August, so there's a big gap between now and it's crazy. It's like the whole rest of June and the whole July. There's no Pennsylvania Sire Stakes. It's ridiculous. So Paul is going to do what he did last year with Moneyman and kind of space out the Geologic races to keep them fresh, basically for September and October. You don't want to use them up now. You want them strong in September and October for the finals and stuff in Massachusetts. So he's just going to he won't race next week, I don't believe. And then the week after, so he won't be racing this week, should I say? The week after, we might start seeing him show up at like Plainridge. And I think he only has like 1 or 2 wins, Geologic. So he fits crazy low over there, like Forwhomthebeltolls did. Um, so anyway, yeah, so that was that. So we think Scott did win the other Pennsylvania Sire Stakes leg. He did win the yellow division. Um, so we're not sure whether he's going to go with us, but we got Yannick Gingras sitting there waiting to easily. He'll gladly take Geologic back if Scott doesn't pick us. Uh, all right. So that's Geologic. Let's go to the next horse, Gretzky the Great. So Gretzky the Great, he um he will be he's we're most likely going to do Tioga Downs next weekend. So he will make his debut most likely at Tioga Downs next weekend, probably on Sunday the 14th. Um, and it'll just be like we've been saying, it'll be a cheap claimer. So he's right now with that injury, we're not sure how many races we even have with him, and we're not even sure he might not come out with these soft tissue injuries. You never really know until they start racing how their leg responds to it. Some of them respond, like like an athlete who gets hurt and then he's never hurt again. And he's great for the rest of his career. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's after one or two races, you see the leg all puffy again and swollen. Then you got to get the doctor looking at it and stuff. So hopefully that doesn't happen. He did get the clean bill of health on that leg from the vet. The vet says 100% healed. So in theory, it's 100% healed. So meaning he'd have to re-tear it for it to get injured. Um, so but yeah, we're gonna start slow. So it'll probably be Tioga Downs next weekend with Gretzky, and the reason is to start slow, work his way up. If he's showing that he's actually staying sound and healthy, then we can get a little bit more riskier with how we race him. Um, but for now, he's kind of a horse you don't really want it. He's a nail biter. Every race we're gonna be like praying he comes out good. So, but the good thing is he is ready to race and he will be in next week, probably Tioga Downs. So draws probably Wednesday for him for Tioga Downs, probably on Sunday. All right, so that's Gretzky the Great. Invictus, he is racing today. I think we already went through his big win last week. So he's racing today. Um, and he's in a pretty good spot. Uh, Rosa, she was just Rosa's luck. She was entered for this week. Her open filly mare pace at Monticello just didn't fill the same way Enola didn't at Tauga. So it just didn't fill. So she just got a unplanned week off and but she's been racing hard anyway and racing great. So keeps her strong. She'll be in the box for next week open. Uh, Memento Mori, he's racing Wednesday at Saratoga, post seven. Not sure what driver we're gonna get because Kyle Swift has another horse on the inside, and then Chris Long has another horse. So I'm not sure who we're gonna get. But and it's also in a class hike too because the previous class doesn't allow the winners of twice in a row in that class. So we got to take our medicine if we don't win, and then we can go back to that class the next time out. It's kind of like the game plan. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday with Momentum More, but he's racing well. He still might do
Good problem to have if you can't get back in because one.
exactly. So either if he actually does fit pretty well in here. I'm actually curious to see how he does. Just you
Yeah.
know, so that's Memento More. He's actually racing great. My Hunter, my Hunter, he raced. I think he raced after our video on Monday, so we can show the My Hunter race. He also had a 1-9 shot in the race, just like Geologic had. Where are the five
Yeah, he's
horses?
another one that had the chiefs and he's the top one.
It was actually an almost identical situation to Geologic. Five horse, 1-9 shot on the rail.
Yeah, yeah, he's good. Yeah.
The big difference is Geologic has really good gate speed. Oh, the Mine Hunter showed some here too.
Yeah, he does get away pretty well.
Yeah, so we're sitting in a two hole here with Jimmy Marone, who actually
Yeah,
yesterday,
so
uh,
we got a tuck here for a while.
yep, Jimmy Marone actually won the Battle of Lake Erie yesterday at for $250,000, I
Yeah.
think,
Wow.
at
Nice.
Northfield. Yeah, but Mossdale Ben, that nice pacer, free for all pacer Peter Tritton
Yeah.
has.
Yeah, here again. Now we got a 21-1 shot we're following. So that's going to be a potential problem, you would think, with that 1-9, 1-5 out there zooming along. But Jimmy's going to do a nice job and keep this one alive.
Yeah, I'll be honest, right here scared me a little
Yeah.
bit.
Right, exactly. Looks like he's going to get buried here because that two's moving on the outside.
Yeah. So here, Jimmy he must have known that two wasn't that good.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah. He hangs out long enough and it's going to open up for him to sneak out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, here he comes now. Yeah, he's going to get out, keep that other guy 3 wide, gets by the 18-1 staller that was holding him up. Good looking good. Nice finish on the mile. And, nobody's getting to that mile. Look at him. They're sailing away down there. Jimmy gets up for second. Pretty nice mile.
Very good mile. Yeah, Mile Hunter, he's a good horse. He's a very good Yonkers horse. And I say that I emphatically. Anyway, he's in the box tomorrow. He's still in the same 30,000 claiming draft class, a drop down, and he's 2-1 favorite from the 5 hole. So more than my favorite.
Right.
And we don't have
And
that
you can make money at Yonkers, that's for sure.
$20,000 purses. It's basically like Excelsior, pretty much. It's like
Yeah.
each week is an Excelsior leg.
Right.
Um, so yeah, the money's great. So and he's My Hunter. The thing with My Hunter is there's a couple things. So for one, we got him for 40. We claimed him for 40, and he was okay in there. Like he's okay in the 40s. Like if he draws inside, we could probably, you know, we'll be top five, top three most of the time if he draws inside, even in the 40s. Um, but winning it, being 1 and 2, top 1 and 2 in the 40s, you're gonna need like a lot of luck. He's gonna have to draw inside, plus you're gonna need kind of things to kind of go your way. Whereas in the 30s, it's more like if he draws on the inside in the 30s, even top five, if he draws 1 through 5, he'll probably be the favorite if there's no
Oh,
monster in there.
that'd be a big factor. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting what a difference it makes. But in the flip side, we might lose him for 30. But
Hmm.
if he's taking down purses, we'll see. But anyway, he's racing well. Um, and but he's got that. Like I said, we had that ankle issue last year that we dealt with him. So we're keeping him fresh with swimming. But you never know if some. He's not a horse. We'd probably he's not a good candidate to keep around long term. Put it that way. So that's why we're being aggressive with him. Um, So anyway, that's my hunter. Let's move on to Ship's Revenge. So we're just gonna wait. I think next week, either next week or the week after, we gotta wait for the pregnancy tests just to make sure that that she's still in full. So that's gonna be in a couple of weeks, in a week or two. We'll hear that. So there's nothing to note now. So we're just kind of praying, keeping our fingers crossed. Soho Skyfall. He raced last week, and it's kind of like a clunker. His first clunker in a while. He's been so good. This
Yeah,
is
he's been sharp. Yeah.
he's the 7 horse.
Which never helps either. And pretty solid lead, that's for sure. That ain't going to quite work out all that well.
Hindsight, probably just better sitting behind that too.
Yeah, he could have taken a tuck there, but he passed it up. Now he goes to the top. And he was 6-5, even with the 7 post. So he's been razor sharp. 27-1. That was a pretty hard work mile for 27-1 on the outside, almost every step of it.
Right. So even though it's 27-1, which is fast to begin with, it's probably more like 26-4 for him.
Yeah, right.
26. Yeah, I mean, right here he looks.
Yeah,
That
he
was a.
seems to be still going smooth there, and
Mm-hmm.
he got away with a 30-second second quarter. So you figure he might have got a little breather in there. But here comes the cavalry.
So here's like where I really was hoping to see like a low 29.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but not with this kind of pressure coming at him. He's got to keep going. So
29-3. Yeah, like I really should have been more like that quarter, that third quarter really should have been more like a 28-3. 28-2.
yeah,
29-3 is not enough for keep these
right.
horses away from him.
Yeah, look at them. They're swarming both sides now.
Yep.
That's always a tough situation.
That one annoyed me the most for nosing
Yeah.
us out for third. That was annoying.
Yeah. But
So,
like you said, he's been sharp. He's been doing what we asked, and he was due for one. They all have them.
right, I think that's all it was. Um, so anyway, he's most likely just because he made so much money recently and stuff and his trackmaster rating is crazy high. Most likely we're gonna go back to Monticello. Um, not this week, not the week coming up, the next week. Uh, but and then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, he was due for that, and that one beating us for third irked me by nose. Uh, but he's been good. So he's been good. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. The horse
Right.
is healthy and sound. So all right, that's Soho Skyfall, second chapter. Nothing to note. Well, nothing to know. He is jogging. He did jog and do a slow training mile this week. So it's been 2 weeks of that so far for him after the treatment on his leg. He will uh probably late next week. So same thing Friday, Saturday, similar to the babies. He'll probably go into a race bike or no, sorry, he'll probably do a training mile Friday, Saturday, late next week, just to kind of give Paul an idea of how he's doing with the treatment. He said jogging, you can't really tell much at all. It's going to be training to see it. So that's going to be hopefully later at the end of later next week. We'll get an idea with second chapter of how he's coming around from that the work he got done in that leg. All right, so that's we're just so in other words, we're just waiting. We gotta wait another week to see something concrete. All right, that's second chapter. And then Uncle Rat, he was in the box for Wednesday next week, but Saratoga, they changed things around next week or this week because of I think it's probably because Saratoga opening day because of the thoroughbreds.
Mm.
So like they didn't race Saturday and Sunday, and like they took a day off and then they combined classes. So in other words, Uncle Rat's class, which usually has like three or four divisions, only had two divisions. So he was the odd man out. Um, he just didn't get in. So he's back in for that. He was due for a break anyway. So he's back in next week anyway in that class at Saratoga. So all right. With that being said, that's all I got, Bob, unless you got anything else.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
All right, everyone. Have a good day, have a good week, and take care. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.